It appears we're live. Hey, it's it's Aaron Live. Not Aaron Con anymore. It's Aaron Live. This is a special edition show. I'm really excited. We've got a ton of guests. For example, me. I'll be the guest on the show tonight. A lot of people got in contact with me over Aaron Con this past weekend and ordered my sketchbook, which I'm very appreciative of. And of course, they all wanted headshot sketches in them. I didn't have enough time on Aaron Con because I was doing full figure commissions as well as trying to do a little sketching in the books. So I have several of those left. And of course, everybody wants to see their book sketch done live on the YouTube or Facebook. And I figured, well, I got to draw them anyway, so let's watch me do it live. And that's what this whole Aaron Live episode tonight is about. So we'll wait till we get a few more eyes on us. Andrew showed up. Hyper Potato is here. May the Atari Force be with you also, my friend. Well, I got a lot of sketching to do, so let's get cracking. I got a box of books over here. Let's just reach down here, pull one up. In case you're wondering, I know most of you aren't. Hey, Rodney, thanks for dropping by. This is my Raw Imagination 20 Years of Sketches by Aaron Lopresti, which would be me. This is a 64-page hardcover. Oops. Has a spine, back cover art, studio logo on there. It's full color, full of a lot of fantasy and humorous adventure, a little bit of monster stuff in here. You know, some nice John Carter stuff right there. A lot of, I think there's over 30 pages of stuff that has never been printed before in this book. So if you don't have one, feel free to get one. And your ordering instructions are scrolling right on the bottom of the page, or the visual, the screen, thank you. Rolling across the screen right now, even as I speak and stumble through my words, because as always, none of this is rehearsed or pre-planned very well. So anyway, if you want to get a book, all you have to do is PayPal me the money at my PayPal address, which is scrolling. There's $5 shipping. You missed the free shipping last weekend, sorry, but it's still $5. Come on, it's a good deal. You just order via PayPal, Aaron at aaronlopresti.com. You put in there what you're sending me the money for, which would be a sketchbook with a sketch in it and who you want in the sketch, and just make sure your address is current, and we can get one of these out to you. All righty, enough of the gab. Let's get to the action. Action may be slightly overselling it, but no, that's not a beer. That's a liqueur. Fancy water, flavored water, I guess. All right. Well, I guess I'm going to have to do some more spectacular camera work that a guy from film school like myself would really excel at, or you think should excel at, but I really don't. Tech is not my thing. Writing and drawing, that's kind of my thing. Okay, all right, that's pretty groovy right there, I think. All right, I'll try and keep my hitting of the camera down to a minimum today. Let's see, who else is here? Jason Scanlon, thanks for doing this. Hey, thank you, Jason, for stopping by. Jason, this is a shout out to you. You have a sketch and a sketchbook. Your sketchbook went out today, but your sketch probably won't go out till tomorrow or maybe Wednesday. I got to get all that artwork packaged up. So you'll be expecting 2 different packages. Those of you that ordered books, remember these books are shipped out media mail, so it takes, depending on where you live, can take 7 to 10 days to get to you. Whereas when you buy artwork, it goes out priority mail, and it's usually just 3 days. So, if you haven't had your book hasn't shown up in a week, don't panic. It's media mail, so it takes some time. Okay, Josh Olive is back with us. He's in Alabama, so it's got to be what, East Coast time now, right? Oh my gosh. Watching Mike Barron. Good old Mike. I know Mike. I've known Mike for years. Okay. You know, before we start, I got to figure out who the heck I'm drawing. That's sort of important, isn't it? Where's my little bat book? Excuse me, I'm going to lean in front of the camera and get my bat book. It's a Christmas gift from DC, and you know, back when they liked me. And all right, let's see. I keep track of all the books right there. Oh, we're going to go with, is Louis Brightraven here yet? No, he doesn't look like he is, so I'm not going to do his. Dustin Whitney, we're going to go with a Wonder Woman, because I don't think he's expecting to be here anyway. So let's start with Wonder Woman. It's always a good way to warm up the crowd. Little Wonder Woman drawing. I think I just saw something. Did they announce when they're going to finally release that movie? I thought I saw something about it on one of my social media outlets today. All right. Draw Batman. Someone actually has to, you know, I don't think anybody has ordered a sketchbook with Batman in it yet. Nighthawk Warrior, thank you for sharing all this. I appreciate it. Benny Almodovar says, is here. He says hello. I say hello right back at you, Benny. Thanks for joining us. Oh, Dustin Whitney is here. So you're going to get to see a little Wonder Woman action. Actually, you're going to see, if you stick around, you'll see both your sketches because you ordered 2. And I always love guys that order more than one book, right? So I will do what I normally do, and that's kind of rough in the features with a blue pencil. This is a light blue coal erase, not a non-photo blue. I don't like the non-photo blues. They're too light and they're too waxy. These coal erases are nice because they actually do erase if you don't press too hard. I tend to be a very hard presser, so I kind of have to catch myself. So I just sort of rough in the outline so I kind of know where the hair's at and where the features are and everything. We'll do a little bit more detail work with the pencil. Stephen Ing back again. This is like 5 straight nights for Stephen. Fly Fox Pro has been here the whole time too, I think. So after I get these done, I'll probably go back to doing Aaron Lives about once a week. And if I don't have any book orders or something, maybe I'll work on, you know, Kit Carter or something like that. Maybe some of the Garbage Man replacement pages. If all goes according to plan, I will be doing an Aaron Con for Rose City Comic Con, which is early September. So in about another month or so, I'll do another one of the more elaborate Aaron Con live streams, live feeds, whatever they are. So we were about 97, 98 degrees again today here. So it's a little, shall we say, comfortable up here in the studio. It's a little warm, but not unmanageable. I based Wonder Woman's jawline on my wife's, or facial anatomy on my wife's, at least the shape of her head, because my wife has really good, strong features for that are perfect for Wonder Woman. Alrighty. All right, we've got 20 people watching, which means everybody at this point knows this is Aaron Live. So I'm going to go to the smaller little Aaron Lopresti thing. So we get more screen. I don't have to try and dodge my banners so you can see the artwork. Okay. So I'm sure I've told this story before, but whenever I'm doing these sketches, it reminds me of Rick Magyar told a story that when he was a fan, him and Mike Barr, not Mike Barron, Mike Barr, guy who wrote Camelot 3000 and Ultraverse stuff and that type of thing. A lot of Batman back in the day. Anyway, when they were like fans, they went to a show in New York. And thank you, Rodney. And you know, they were waiting in line to get Barry Smith. You know, they wanted to get a Conan sketch or something from Barry Smith, right? And so they waited in line, and you know, Rick gets up there, and Barry's like, "Well, what do you want me to draw?" And he says, "Conan." He says, "All right." So he was sitting next to somebody, Barry Smith was, and he's talking to this other guy while he's working on the sketch, right? It's like this head sketch thing, and he's working on it for a little bit, you know, and he said he's about, I don't know how much of it was actually done, but you know, a fair amount of it was done. And he looks at Rick and he goes, "Hey, by the way, how much money do you have to spend?" And the kid goes, and Rick goes, $20, and Barry Smith goes, "Here, it's done." And handed him the half-finished Conan headshot or whatever. So that was a pretty funny story. I'm a mercenary, but I'm not quite that much of a mercenary. I think I would probably, you know, I may not put as much detail into it if, you know, but, you know, I don't know that I would stop halfway through a sketch and just say, "Oh, you don't have enough money. You're out of here." But I just think that's a great story. Because at that point I would have said, I meant $40, you know. Of course, that head sketch, if he still has it, is probably, you know, worth $1,000 or more. So it's probably a good investment on his part. Okie doke. Let's see. Benny wants to know, for Rose City Comic Con, would like to have you add a character on a jam piece of mine if you have free time. Well, you'd have to get the jam piece to me because Rose City's been canceled. And so I'll be doing an Aaron Con for it, but I'd be more than happy to do it in your jam piece, but you'd have to get it to me. And I don't know how big it is, and shipping a really big piece of art might be a pain in the butt. So you might actually have to wait till next year's Rose City. Okay. I'm going to switch to a smaller pen to do the face, the facial features. All right. What do we got over here in the pen pile? No, it's number 8. It's too big. I don't know if I want to go with a 1. That seems too small. A 3. That's just right. Yes, Benny. Yeah, send me a message about it, and we'll discuss how to go about doing that for you. There's a lot of competition these days on the internet for live feeds, isn't there? I mean, most of these guys do live feeds, and they have people on, and they talk about, whatever current issues, or ripping on other creators, or whatever. I'm proud to say I'm all about the art. Excuse me. That's why we're different here at Aaron Live. I am going to start having some guests, though. I think I finally figured out how to actually use the guest feature on this software I'm using. So get some other people in here to, maybe draw a little bit or talk about what they're working on. Might be a nice little change of pace. I know some dudes, get like Simonson on here, and Joe Jusko, or Ron Garney, or, cool people like that. David Williams, Jerome Moore, see what those guys are up to. If I ever get Terry to come out of his isolation to do a show, that would be great, since he has a book to plug. But I know he's very Terry's like me in that he's kind of scrambling to keep up with his deadlines on Adventure Man, and I'm sort of scrambling to keep up with my Justice League deadlines. Oh, that's a really pretty Wonder Woman. It turned out great. I guess I shouldn't say that, right? That sounds a little too self-serving and arrogant. Yeah, that turned out great, but that turned out pretty good. I mean, I just, you got to call it as you see it, right? If I've got, sucky work out there, I'll let you know that too. Actually, I won't talk about it. Oh, you know what I was going to do? I forgot to do this. We'll do it right after I finish this. I thought for AaronCon, the last day of AaronCon, I should have like a show special, and so I've got a show special I want to run by you guys and see how it works out. Luis Omar Velez Gonzalez, man, that is a lot of name right there, buddy. But he says, Aaron, your art is fantastic. Thank you, Luis. I really is it Luis or Luis? It's probably Luis, right? I don't know. I'm not the Don Korn is here. evening. Dawn will be doing yours shortly, so hang around. I know it's a little bit later there in Illinois than it is here, but let's see. Rocky says, one of the highlights of my con experience is seeing you and Terry together at Spectrum in Kansas City, plus Gary Gianni on your other side. You know, those are great shows because they're very lightly attended and there's like so much really great talent there. Was that the year that James Gurney was there too? Because he was like right next to Gianni. Frank Cho was there that year. So I was like really excited to get to talk to James Gurney. You know, he's the writer and artist of Dinotopia. And what a nice, gracious guy he was. And so I was kind of a thrill to get to meet him. Scott Gustafson, who's just a really terrific oil painter, does children's books, a lot of fairy tales and stuff like that. But he's just terrific. I bought some original art from him at that show. Also, oh darn it, what's his name? Does a lot of painting, gaming art for like you know, Wizards of the Coast and those that, you know, Dungeons and Dragons and that type of stuff. Irish guy, doggone it. I have the book of his art too, and I can't. It'll come to me eventually. But anyway, I bought some original stuff from him as well. I mean, this is just a terrific show. And I know Flesk, the guy who puts the show on, was going to try and move it to, I thought San Francisco, but then it didn't work out. And then he kept it in Kansas City. So I might even go. Actually, no, wait a minute. I think it depends, because sometimes it's the weekend of WonderCon. And man, I got to go to WonderCon so I can go to Downtown Disney and have beignets and bread pudding at the Jazz Kitchen. It's kind of a must for me. Brahm, no, not Brahm. Thank you, Hyper Potato. I will, you know, I'm tempted to run over to the bookcase and pull his book out, but I'm not going to do it. I'm a huge fan of his stuff, and the fact that I can't think of his name ticks me off. But as I was making an excuse for myself for really being bad with names, is that if I don't see anybody for a long time or don't have reason to talk about them or something for a while, I will forget their name. It's terrible. All right, how about that? That's a nice looking Wonder Woman. Kind of girl you could bring home to meet your parents. Yes, Spectrum was combined with Planet Comic-Con last year, and I think they're going to keep doing that. I don't know. But as long as it's, I mean, I have relatives in Kansas City area, and so that's why I was going to Spectrum. So I was staying with my aunt and uncle. But I had a long drive in because they were actually in Kansas, and I had to go, you know, just on the other side of the border. And so I'd have to drive in about 45 minutes every morning. So if I went back, I'd actually probably stay in a hotel in Kansas City. As long as they're not rioting and burning stuff to the ground, then maybe I wouldn't go. But all right, who'd we say that was? Dustin Whitney. That's Wonder Woman. That's 180, man. Number 180. And then he wants a 90s Rogue. So we're going to jump right on that. All right. One down, like 5 more to go or something like that. Okay, where can I put this so it doesn't crash and burn on the floor? Oh, so let me show you my show special. This was there's a giant shot of my head. And you can see just right over there. That little tilted page on my drawing table, that's the current page of Justice League I'm working on. What could be on it? I don't know. Well, look at Kit for a second while I grab this page. All right. So here's what I was going to do yesterday and forgot to do. Hello. Boom. Okay. So I got the splash page from Death of Hawkman, right? Has Adam Strange on it and Hawkman flying out of an explosion. Okay. So that's from issue number 5, page 11. Okay. It's a big splash page, the two of them. I was normally asking $400 for it. Show special tonight, $200. If anybody wants it, you gotta be the first one to let me know. If you want it, I'll take, and you can have it for $200. So $15 shipping, but yeah, it's okay, $215. So it's a splash page. So that's what I was gonna do. I'm doing it now. So anytime during the show, if you think, hey, I'd be into that, let me know. So that's my show special for tonight. All right. Look at how old my Wacom, or is it Wacom tablet is. I think I got that thing at least 15 years ago. And it's still going strong. Now what the heck? Oh, here it is. Okay. Just remember when you get to 199, you have to skip to 201. I know that, Warren. I've got it marked in my book. How do you remember that? You didn't get 200 from me. Someone else did. Well, I want to know how you remembered that, Warren. I mean, you're usually on top of things, but that's pretty. Yeah. Jaime or Jamie Ramirez got a Wolverine at number 200. That was back when I was on number 123, and then he goes, I want 200. And I'm like, all right. So I had to mark it in my book so I wouldn't screw it up. But leave it to Warren to remember. Warren does the lettering on Kit Carter for me, by the way. All right, so Dustin, let's go for 90s Rogue. I'm assuming you mean Jim Lee's 90s Rogue with the headband and everything. So let's do it. Studio tour. Dude, this studio is so... I'll do one, I promise. Not tonight. It's kind of messy. I'd like to get it sort of, I don't know, how should we say, cleaned up a little bit before I bring in a bunch of guests, whether virtually or unvirtually. Let's have a drink of refreshing La Croix. Lemon fresh. Warren Montgomery, because I'm a smart Portlander, that must be it. Something in that clear Mount Hood water, right? Okay. All right, I'm getting some nice positive comments about Wonder Woman. I've read them all. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. All right, I gotta adjust this camera. What the heck? All right, there we go. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So what did I say? 90s Rogue. All righty. She's got that little white tuft of hair there. See, I always think of, when I think of 90s Rogue, I think of the Savage Land Rogue issue, which I'm sure you all remember. That was still Claremont writing that, wasn't it? Pretty sure it was. Okay. Rogue was sort of a popular character there for a while there, and then I think Storm sort of supplanted her coming out of the 90s as the popular female X-Men character, although I shouldn't really say because I don't really know since I never really read the book and I never really worked on the book other than a couple of issues. All right, here's a tragic X-Men story for you. Sadly, it involves me. I had been out of work for a period of time. It's only happened to me twice in my career. Once after I did Tachyon, and I got blacklisted at DC because of its abysmal sales. And then right after, I can't remember what happened, but I ended up without any work. And so I was just hitting up people that I knew from early in my career that were at Image and things like that to sort of get me by. But anyway, so finally, as luck would have it, I actually, seriously, after being on Sludge and doing all this stuff, I actually went to San Diego and showed my portfolio again to people at Marvel. And eventually the X-Men office called me up and wanted me to do an annual, right? And I said, are the X-Men actually in it? And it's like, well, no, not really. And I'm like, okay, then no, I'm not interested. Because I kept figuring if I keep taking crappy jobs, that's all they're going to give me, right? So I thought, I'm going to be a tough guy and hold out. And then I thought, man, I probably really screwed the pooch on that one. But then they called me back a couple weeks later and said, hey, would you like to do a couple fill-ins? Actually, that's not true. They asked me if I would do they were doing a promo comic with Wizard, an Ultimate X-Men, right? So I did the Ultimate X-Men thing that Jeff Johns wrote and Danny Mickey inked. It was really cool. It turned out really well. And so then they called me to do, I don't know, 2 or 3 issues of X-Men. And this was kind of in their black leather days, the X-Men. And so I did the 2 issues, Mark Morales inked. And Danny Mickey actually inked a couple of pages in there for some reason on one of the issues. But so I did these issues and they just loved it, right? And no kidding, the assistant editor says to me, after these issues were done, he goes, we're grooming you. This is a quote. We're grooming you to be the next big X-Men artist. And of course I was doing backflips, right? I was like, finally my ship has come in, right? And then like 2 weeks later, both guys in the X-Men office got fired. I was unemployed again, which then led me to go to CrossGen. And Ethan Van Sciver takes credit for getting these guys fired. So I told him, thanks for ruining my career. But anyway, so yeah, that's my tragic, I was almost a superstar story. But yeah, I've never been a big X-Men fan. I do like some of the characters, but I don't know. I've always been such a contrarian that whatever people are into and think is hot, I usually go the other direction. And so everybody was like, oh, X-Men, X-Men, X-Men. And I'm like, I'll go read Man-Thing. So. Matt, James, how many Savage Land Rogue commissions have you drawn? Not as many as you might think. I did this one, or I'm doing this one. I did the full color one. You guys probably have seen. I posted it on Instagram and Facebook. I mean, I posted it everywhere. Twitter. It's full figure, full color. Turned out really well. I think I did some like much earlier in my career. I think there's a few floating around on Comic Art Fans and things like that, but not, maybe 4 or 5, in 30 years. That's not, it's not really a lot. I've done a lot of rogues, but not Savage Land Rogue. But I do have to say, CrossGen was a for the most part, till of course it went under, and that's never fun. But I lived in Florida for 2.5 years, and if it had been up to me, I would have stayed. But my wife couldn't stand the humidity or the bugs, so we got out of there. But that was a fun environment, actually. We had a lot of good time working there. And all of us, I think, that worked there, quite a few of us sort of needed to resurrect our careers. And that's, I think, why most people won't admit that. They'll just say, no, I went there, because it would look like a great opportunity to be creative and blah, blah, blah. But I think most of us were there to sort of resurrect our careers. And we were put into a work environment where we could really do our best work, and we were, sitting around other really good artists. So it's like it really pushed you to do good work. And so I'm still really proud of the work I did on Mystic back then, and it helped me get back in the good graces at Marvel. Excuse me, because I went from that. Once CrossGen went under, I did a couple issues of Captain Marvel when it was still a dude, and then started Excalibur with Chris Claremont, and then some new X-Men, and then Sentinel Squad, and then Planet Hulk and Ms. Marvel. And so I was actually starting to really cook at Marvel. And after Ms. Marvel, I just had say an unfortunate experience with an editor that sort of I felt was very disrespectful to me, and I knew DC was interested in me, so I flew the coop. I went to DC. That editor is no longer at Marvel, so I'm still not going to throw him under the bus and mention his name. I just don't think that's cool to do stuff like that. We have way too much of that going on in society these days. He only stays on Gary's channel for the whole time. Wait a minute, I got to go back. Oh, were you thinking of Ian McCaig? No. But he was there at one of them too, and he's great. Oh my gosh, he was a really nice guy too. I think it was the year after Ian McCaig, because I think that year I was sitting next to Steve Rude that year. The McCaig was there. I'll think of that guy's name before the end of this show. I will. He does all trolls and monsters and things like that. And he paints, his stuff looks like oil paints with these really vibrant colors, but they're actually watercolors. And I was asking him about it, and he said that he didn't, when he was a kid, he only had access to watercolor paints. And it's kind of a similar story to Dan Brereton. or they saw oil paintings, but they just assumed they were watercolor paintings, and so they tried to emulate that oil paint look by using the watercolors, super thick, and then just kind of created their own sort of painting style, which is just, really really cool. All right, we got our hair done. Let's finish this face up. Where is the bus and when is it available to receive throwies? See, I don't know what that means. See, I think sometimes you guys are like talking to each other in this stream, and I look up and I see a comment and I'm like, what the heck's he talking about? It really doesn't even involve me. Why did the chicken go into the bus? Okay, laugh out loud. To get to the place with the stuff and the things. See, there's just I'm just on the outside looking in on some of this message column humor over here. So there we go. '90s Rogue. Everybody loves '90s Rogue. You said throw them under the bus, Aaron. Oh, I see. See, like I often say, I don't remember what I said like 10 seconds ago. So then I look up and you guys are commenting on it. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Aaron, is there anything you have a tough time drawing? I really struggle with Batman, getting him to look, I don't know, dark enough, I guess. I'm never quite happy with my, even when I do good Batmans, every once in a while I do want to go, okay, that's right, that looks right. Thank you, Rodney. Thanks, Jason. I had a big crush on Rogue when I was a kid. I wanted to be Gambit. That's good stuff. Let's see. Okay, that's Dustin Whitney's second piece, and that's number 181. Okay, it's 2 down. Did everybody get to see that? I think I showed it. I'll show it again. Do you have any stories you can tell about working on Amethyst? I love the character and your art on her. Would love to see you teamed with her original writer, Dan Mishkin. Yeah, I don't know that they're necessarily, they're more process stories because it was a tremendous amount of work working on that book. Everything, Dustin says, I love them both. Thanks, Aaron. You're welcome, Dustin. Thank you. Yeah, Fly Fox Pro says, Aaron, I always thought your art was perfect for Superman or Booster Gold, more uplifting heroes. I agree. I mean, Booster Gold I drew him so much because of Justice League International. It really became one of my favorite characters to draw. And I never really was all that into Superman, but that's the one book I'd like to work on is Superman. I really think that I've got a grip on Superman now. That, drawing him so much in the Justice League was really able to kind of solidify my approach to him. So, all right. Well, let's see. I'm going. Marty Myhall has returned, an old college buddy of mine. Let's see. Getting back to Angela's original question, Aaron, is there anything that you have a tough time drawing? I don't like drawing anything mechanical. So that's always seems to be a chore for me. Cars, tanks, guns, anything that is like machinery is just like way challenging for me. If I had my druthers, I would be drawing dinosaur comics in the jungle all the time, but nobody really reads those things. Okay, so I'll get to Amethyst Stories in a second here. Let me see. John Smith drops in. Hey, John, thanks for coming in. Do I like drawing Adam West Batman? I've never drawn him, so, but I would probably get a kick out of it. There we go. I absolutely love Justice League International. The art was spectacular. Thank you, Rodney. Fly Fox Pro says something similar. There was a lot of Booster and Guy Gardner pages in those books. I still have a lot of that artwork. Oh, Marty, thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, Haunted Tank probably ain't gonna happen. All right, I'm gonna jump ahead to Don Corns because I know he's up on the East Coast and it's late. And who's texting me? My son. Hey, he's perfect timing, man. He he has a real job. He's an engineer, and so he's up at 6 a.m. or whatever and texting me. I'm like, dude, seriously, I'm not up yet. But anytime your kid gets in touch with you, you can't really complain. Okay. Anyway, all right. So, Randy Funk, thank you. I'm glad you liked him. Okay, so Amethyst Stories. Here's the thing with Amethyst. Amethyst. I gotta preface this. Don paid a little bit extra because he wanted kind of 2 characters in his sketchbook, and I don't get any ideas. I don't normally do this, and I probably won't do it again. But Don's an oldie but a goodie, so I thought, all right, I'll do 2 for him. But anyway, when I was working on Amethyst, everything was brand new. Okay, there was no established anything in that book, so everything I had to create, and oftentimes it was page to page. It was like we're at a different location we've never seen before, a different location we've never seen before. And there was different kingdoms in there, much like Game of Thrones or something, right? So all the stuff had to be similar, but couldn't be the same, right? So I was designing stuff daily, which was sort of what happened with the this latest Justice League story arc I'm currently on, where they're on this alien world. It's like, man, every page, had to draw something that it wasn't established and had no reference for, so I just had to make it up. And the pressure on that is that, a lot of times, whenever you're designing something, especially like on an hour's notice, it's not like, I've got weeks to design this whole new world. It's like sometimes I have minutes. So you never know if it's going to suck or not. And so that's always your biggest fear, right? And so that was a challenge with Amethyst. And then the other thing with Amethyst was those were all shot from my pencils. They were not, it was never inked. Okay. You wanted Sandman back here. So yeah, so what I would do is what I would do is, I got to go grab some death reference real quick because I want to make sure that I haven't drawn her in a while. So give me a second here while I type. So anyway, I would, because it was shot from my pencils, right? Or wasn't inked. You know, people would say digitally inked, but it was just, I mean, I scanned the pencils and then I darkened them up, and that was, you know, my digital inking, right? Okay, I got to get her hair right. I'm way off on her hair. I know it's kind of punky on the, well, it just depends on who draws her, right? My gosh, I could do any hair I wanted based on what I'm looking at. Okay, so anyway, so because the pencils had to be really tight, I didn't want them all messed up. Okay. So, you know, and smudged up and whatever. So I would take these 11 by 17 copy paper, you know, just normal normal copy paper. It was 11 by 17. And I would do my layouts on these 11 by 17 pages, right? And that, because it was the Xerox copy paper, it was thin, so that I could take these layouts, full size 11 by 17 layouts, put them on a light table, put the board, the drawing board, over the top of the, you know, and basically trace it and clean it up, right? So I was doing these seriously elaborate page layouts. They're very detailed. They just were very messy. They weren't cleaned up, right? All the underdrawing was still in there. And I had to do that with every single freaking page, right? So I basically was drawing every page twice. And it was, and I was still keeping a deadline, which is amazing to me. So it was the hardest job I've ever had in my life. Planet Hulk was hard because it was, again, a lot of battle sequences and a lot of multi-character pages. But Amethyst, you know, you take into the fact that I was basically drawing everything twice and then had to design everything as well. That was really a challenging job. But in some ways, it's some of the best stuff I've ever done. I mean, it's not perfect, but there's some nice pages in there. And like anything else, there's some pages I'd like to have back. But and I had to fill in all the blacks with my pencil, right? So I'd scribble and crosshatch to try and get a flat, regular pattern. And man, I tell you, it was a lot of work. Gosh, does she have an earring on this side? I can't find any drawing where she has earrings. She like cross earrings or something in there? I mean, I don't know. Ooh, there's a nice Adam Hughes drawing. Of course, every drawing Adam Hughes does is nice. So I guess I'm not going to really see her ear anyway. So okay, so what's Sandman's name? It's like Morpheus or something, isn't it? Well, someone has a, I'm not going to see her ear anyway, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, excuse me, I gotta type in Morpheus. There he is. Kind of like the Chris Pacello kind of punky version of the character. Jalapeno Milk has showed up. Hello, Jalapeno. Okay, so she's happening. Let's see what we've got here. Oh, my Morpheus. Sort of. Kelly Jones did some of this stuff too, didn't he? Well, we may be having a puppy break.
He's got the zoomies, something fierce.
Yeah, it's that time of night.
Where's Daddy? Here you go. Hey, Roskin.
Kelly, it was a quick hello and goodbye.
Good boy.
I never read any of this. It's almost sacrilegious for me to say that, isn't it? But I never read any of Neil Gaiman's Sandman stuff. And I kept hearing really cool things about it, but it just never was much of a Vertigo dude. So what can I say? Okay. All right, let's. Who is this character? Mayor McCheese, you're exactly right. How did you guess? It's Death, man. Death and Sandman from Vertigo days. Like, that would have been the 90s, wasn't it? Sure it was. I'm gonna make sure I go heavy on her eyeliner because she's, goth chick, right? They're called something else now. What does my daughter call emo? Emo, not emu, but emo, which I don't even know what that means. Let's see, where are we at here? Okay. Gotta make sure she's got the black lipstick on, right? Because she's Death. I mean, you got to give him credit. I mean, it's pretty interesting to make Death a teenage girl. I mean, that's a pretty interesting way to approach that, I would think. But having never read his stuff, I can't really say. But I mean, he's pretty celebrated. Him and Alan Moore are kind of like the two greatest comic writers of all time. And throw a little Frank Miller in there once in a while. I guess that would be everybody, right? So his stuff must have been pretty good. just sent you a reference with the earring and the necklace. Well, yeah, the necklace ain't going to be on there, Dawn, because it's going to hang down too low. I know it's a cross with a thing like this. So we'll give a little indication of it there, I guess. All right. And I covered up her ear with her hair, so we're not going to see the earring. Mayor McCheese is surely the death of some people. Well, I think we all know that to be true. Those are the good old days, though, man, when going to McDonald's used to be like the thing, right? It's like get your parents to take you to McDonald's. Now I wouldn't go there. My life depends. Well, okay, that's an exaggeration. I have occasionally picked up a Egg McMuffin. So, but I can't remember the last time I had like a McDonald's hamburger or cheeseburger or anything like that. Okay, now this again is going to, the problematic black hair is that I can't use a real heavy black marker because it'll bleed through the paper, and we don't want to do that. So I have to like do some cross hatching or some really tight linear work here to get this to look black. So the extra work of the character with the black hair. So I really love it when you guys pick blonde characters, because then it's like cake, man. What does he say? Jalapeno Milk says, them golden memories. See, I see what you did there. Remember when, like, they used to have those signs? You guys aren't as old as me. Well, Dawn, I know you are, but they used to have, like, 1 million served or 2 million served or whatever. Now it's like in the billions. It's like you couldn't even imagine that back then. $1 billion. Like I was looking at the circulation. I have some old Life magazines, that have like movie stars on them, like Brando and things like that. And I was looking at the circulation. It's like over 1 million. That was a weekly magazine, I think, wasn't it? Wasn't Life a weekly magazine? And it was just like, that's just amazing to get that many people to buy your magazine every week, like every issue that comes out. The good old days, man. That's the thing I miss. If I could go back in time to where illustration was king, that would have been the time to really be an artist. I mean, yeah, a lot more competitive, I'm sure, but I don't know. There's a lot more jobs, so maybe it wasn't. But you go to art school, and they didn't teach you a bunch of garbage. They actually taught you how to draw and paint, and even the crappy illustrators back then were pretty good oil painters. So, God, this version of Death kind of looks like a Selena Gomez. My daughter was watching reruns of Wizards of Waverly Place. My daughter's 18, but today it's like, what the heck? But I never let her watch it when she was a kid because of the witchcraft element in it, and I didn't want her to think that that was kind of a cool thing as a kid. So I know a lot of you are probably shaking your head going, what? What's he talking about? But anyway, so she was watching him because she says, we never let me watch him when I was a kid, so I'm going to watch him now. And I went, yeah, but this show is horrible. But so I don't know. I just recently saw some like teenage Selena Gomez stuff, and maybe that stuck in my head because it kind of It doesn't look exactly like her, but it's just kind of reminiscent of her. Oh, the laborious process of doing the black hair. Getting your money's worth, Dawn. Good thing I'm not charging by the line. Yeah, that's true. The circulation statements in old comics are incredible. Hundreds of thousands sold, mostly to readers, not sitting in store boxes. Boy, isn't that the truth? And you know, the really sad thing is about that is that I just don't think we can get them back. Lloyd, the collector, is here. Hey, Lloyd. Because that was all there was like magazines and reading material. I mean, and movies, you know, that was it. And there's just so much competition for the dollar, entertainment dollar, and there's so much stuff that's, you know, like video games and stuff. I guess calling them video games is not real accurate anymore, but are so sophisticated. The animation and they're so interactive that, you know, trying to talk someone into taking the time to sit down and read a comic book and kind of use your imagination a little bit, it's a tough sell. I mean, it's a great, uniquely American art form, but I just don't know that people really appreciate it. I mean, they may not have appreciated it back in the day when it was just, you know, cheap entertainment. But man, there's a lot of great creativity that's come out of comics. Oops, sorry. Just doing her tank here. All right. Let's go back here and do, well, what's his face? Sandman. Well, see, Fly Fox Pro, he says, I was joking in Mike Miller's stream and told Mike Barron I'd be glad to draw a comic for him. He told me to send him my art. Okay, so that's what you get. You open your mouth, now the pressure's on, dude. I was, when you picked, you know, Booster Gold to do in here, I love working on Booster Gold. I really do. Like I said, I used to hate him, but not anymore. TC Shen says, best one yet, Aaron. Best sketch, period, or best death? Or just best live feed yet? Well, TC thinks something's the best, and I'll take it, regardless of what it is. All right, now I got to get in there with a thicker pen so I can get this dark stuff in there. Hyper Potato, best death I've ever seen. Well, I really appreciate that, man. Because there's some good ones out there. You should look up Adam Hughes's death sketch online. It's quite spectacular. I actually did a death print that was very, very popular, called Death Takes a Holiday, and she was at the beach in like this black one-piece swimming suit, and she was holding up, she had an umbrella in one hand and a skull in the other, a la Hamlet, you know. And Sandman was in one of those changing tents kind of peeking out in the background. And I'd done that for somebody years ago, and it was a commission, and it was like, it turned out so well. I was like, I don't usually turn commissions into prints, but I did in this case, and it actually proved to be fairly popular. All right, how about that? Death and Sandman. Oh, Don says that swimsuit drawing was what gave him the idea. Well, Fly Fox Pro, if you'd love to see the print, Google like Aaron Lopresti or Lopresti death, or something like that, because I know it's floating around everywhere. Okay. All right. So we shall sign this sucker. Now I've got to look in the old book and oops, sorry, see what number this is. Oh, Don, this is year 183. I got to get to 200 before the end of the year. I will. I have confidence we'll get there. I don't know why. I'm just kind of a benchmark for me. So one last look at the gang. Oh, Don, thanks for staying up. I'm glad I was able to do it for you. You can go to bed now if you need to. Yes, Death Takes a Holiday, Aaron Lopresti. That's it, Marty. That was the name of the but it was also, that's also a Frederick Arch movie where I believe he plays Death, called Death Takes a Holiday. So that was kind of my little joke. But yeah, so Fly Fox Pro, check out Death Takes a Holiday by me, and it'll come up. Was your Girl Power print a commission? Well, not technically. Here's what I did. I used to, when I didn't have a lot of sketch requests like I do now, I used to, let me grab another book here. I used to do, if I needed money, or I needed, like I said, money for an old comic. Okay, Matt Kubis. Actually, you know what? Is Louis Brightraven here? Well, he can come back and watch it later. So we'll just, because I don't want to get too far ahead of myself and then get lost. So we'll do, Louis Brightraven has his own character he wants done. And then I have a Wonder Woman and a Kit Carter after that. Okay, so anyway, What were I talking about? What was I talking about? Oh, the girl power. So I did that piece, right? And I did it, sketch style in markers and colored pencils. Inked it with a pen as opposed to brush inking it like it would do a cover or something like that, right? And so, and I did it for the sole purpose of just sticking it on eBay and selling it to get some money. And it didn't sell for very much. I mean, I guess when I did it probably 10 years ago. I think it sold for $250. This 11 by 17 full color piece that I would charge, if someone asked me to do that now, I'd probably charge like $600 to do it. But like I said, it was 10 years ago, so maybe it sold for a decent price at the time. But I scanned it, and then I just thought, you know what, I'm going to turn that into a print because it was such kind of a cute idea. Dawn is heading to bed. Good night, Dawn. Thanks for staying up again. Appreciate it. Okay, so that's the story of that girl power print. It was really just me trying to figure out how to make some money, some extra money. Normally I wouldn't go to that much elaborate. I got to check some reference, sorry. There he is. Okay, all right. Anyway, so normally I wouldn't do that elaborate of a piece just to stick up on eBay. But it was kind of an idea that I had in my mind that came to me, and so, once I finished with it and really didn't have a buyer for it, I figured, I'll just stick up on eBay and see what happens. And so that's. But my son, when we lived in Florida, when he was little, he was a big HeroClix fan. So we found our local comic shop down there that we always go to, which was Yancey Street Comics. They're still in Tampa area or Holiday area, and which is outside of Tampa, right on the coastline there. But we would go in there on the weekend, like I think Sunday afternoons or Saturday afternoons, whatever it was, and he'd go in there and play HeroClix with the guys that ran the store, right? So they would sit out back and play HeroClix, and I'd watch the store, right? Because it was like, slow Sunday afternoon kind of thing. And so while I was watching the store, I would work on I'd just draw something, a sketch or something, usually White Queen, because I knew that would sell. And then I'd just stick it up on eBay for extra cash. So a couple times my wife, Shelly, came down and played HeroClix with them. It was pretty funny. So my wife, my son, and a couple of the guys from the store in the back playing HeroClix. I'm out front watching the cash register and everything, and working on White Queen sketches to put on eBay. Okay, this is a guy's character. So if you're looking at it going, who the heck is that? Like I said, I won't do someone else's character like at a show or something if they want full figure, because the costumes always tend to be just way too much work. But a headshot, it's like, how hard can it be? So, okay. Got a little blue line there. Port Richey, yes. Thank you, Vinny. Where was I 10 years ago? I missed it. So Hyper Potato, are you a Florida guy? I assume Ben, wait a minute. So Benny, are you in that area too? Or you used to be in that area? Yeah, those are good times. Good times, as Squidward would say. Yeah, he lives in Florida. All right. Yeah, we were in a newer development, a gated community in Holiday. I mean, right off, that super dangerous highway. It's like the second deadliest highway in the world, or in the United States. It was in '99. It was it Highway 9 or whatever? Oh, you lived in Kissimmee, huh? It was kind of a shock to the system to move to Florida, but I've always been a little bit adventurous in that regard. I think my wife, it was pretty hard for her. She really freaked out. Because she'd lived in Oregon her whole life. And I'd already spent 3.5 years in LA. So I'd been and done, a lot of traveling because of comics and stuff, and spent a lot of time in New York and things like that, even though I never actually lived there. So going someplace new wasn't really that big of a change for me, but it was for her. And then the fact that it was super humid and there was bugs biting her all the time. As soon as CrossGen went under, she was like, "We're out of here." We had really good neighbors there too. Snapping turtles and alligators and stuff right in our neighbor's yard. I mean, that's fun stuff. I went to a show in not Fairbanks, Alaska, but what's the capital of Anchorage? And they were saying that I just missed the moose would come down in the wintertime into the city because it was warmer. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. Like moose just walking down the street. And so I missed that. I was kind of ticked off because I would have loved to have seen that. Although I know they're not the friendliest of animals and they are extremely dangerous, but still, come on, that's so cool. Highway 95, yeah, that's it. I gotta fix that nose. I'm not 100% happy with it. Yeah, you're right. Juneau is the capital, but Anchorage is the largest city. That is correct. And we were in Anchorage. warm up here. Sorry, I'm kind of going radio silent here. You know what? Sanatown was yeah. I don't know. There was like some really incredibly majestic mountain range, like just seemed like a stone's throw away from Anchorage. It was just beautiful. It was the weirdest town because there was like nobody on the street, like ever. But you go into a bar or a restaurant, it was just packed. And we were there in springtime, so it wasn't particularly cold, but it was just really, I thought, really bizarre. Every day I was there, it was like no one around. You're like, does anybody live here? Then you go into a restaurant or a bar and it's just packed with people. So I hope to go back there and do another show. It was really kind of fun. I mean, that's the cool thing about doing shows is you get to go places that you wouldn't normally necessarily get to go to or see, right? And you know, in some of these towns like that, you get or these smaller shows like that, they will, you know, they fly you out and put you up in the hotel, and so you don't really have any expenses. But even if you do, and you have to pay to go to some of these shows, of course, they're business write-offs, so they're not a total, you know, financial drain. They actually, even if I have to spend money to go like San Diego, which is super expensive, or New York, you know, I'm still writing it off at the end of the year, so I do get a little bit of a tax break. But yeah, I mean, I get invited, you know, to a lot of different places that I wouldn't, you know, normally ever go. I've been to store signings in Vegas, which, you know, it's not that big a deal. Everybody's been to Vegas, but, you know, I've been to Bedrock City in Houston a couple times for store signings, and those were just a blast. And then, of course, the shows. I've been to 2 different shows in Germany where they paid for me and my wife to go. Because I was like, dude, I am not going to Europe without my wife. Are you kidding me? I'd come back home and I'd be divorced. So, so we did shows in Germany twice, and then we would extend the stay, take the train into Paris and stay a week in Paris, and then fly out of Paris and fly home. So what I would get the guys to do is the German guys would fly us into Germany for the show. Then I just say, okay, well, book us flying out of Paris, you know, on this date. And then after the show, I'd take the money that I made at the show and use that to pay for a week in Paris, which we've done twice. And that's really fun. But I mean, I never would have gone if I hadn't had the opportunity because of, you know, comic book show. So. Wasn't sure she was going to turn out very good, but I think I kind of saved her. I think she looks pretty good now. Currently 6 degrees in Anchorage. Met you at Arctic Con in 2018. That's the show I'm talking about, Robert. Well, hello and good to see you again. You know who's at that show? Flash Gordon from, what's his name? Sam, he was in the Flash Gordon movie. So I talked to him quite a bit. Sam Jones. It's so funny because I meet these actors that appear to be like really big, guys of large stature on the screen, and then you meet them. And I mean, I'm 6'2.25", so I'm not a small guy, but I'm just constantly amazed at how I dwarf these guys that I thought were, these big, tall, strong dudes. And I mean, he's probably still strong, but they ain't anywhere near as tall as you think they are. My gosh, Danny Trio. Oh my gosh, I walked next to him at a show in Houston. That guy is tiny. I mean, tiny. I could have reached my elbow out as I was standing and sat it on his head. I wouldn't have done it, of course, but it was just like amazing. I was like, he seems like such a big dude on screen, but he's not. And like Lou Ferrigno, barely taller than me. Of course, he's a lot larger than me, but you'd think that guy's a giant. He just. But again, like I said, I'm over 6'2", so I'm not exactly short. But it just so I guess everybody's perspective would be different. But this is a guy's his own character. I can't remember her name now. It's like Kim something, Kim Possible. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, this is a dude's like own character. So, oops, I'm signing. Because she's blonde, so I don't have to color in all the hair. Yay for me. All right, so this is number 179. Character's name is Tina Blake. I don't know what that means, but I'm sure it means something in his comic or, I think it's a comic character. I don't think it's a video game character. I think her hair is a little bit more butch than I did, but hey, this is right before she got it cut. Scott Gunther wants to know, what have I been working on all tonight? I've done 4. I'm only doing sketchbooks tonight. By the way, Scott, I picked up the books you sent me at the post office this morning. So I am, I've got 2 more to do, and then we're going to call it a night. But to answer Scott's question, as I grab another book, boom. What do we do? We've done Wonder Woman. We've done 90s Rogue. We've done Death and Sandman. And then this creator-owned character, Tina Blake, for this dude, Louis Bright Raven. Now we're going to do another Wonder Woman and then Kit Carter to finish off the evening. Okay, what did I say? Wonder Woman? All right, well, I better start drawing with a pencil, not a pen. It could be a recipe for disaster. Sam Jones, yes. I already said that, though. I see your... Oh, wait a minute, here we go. Okay, Scott, did I answer your question? How did you change your avatar so quickly? You went from Spider-Man to you, and I assume that's your wife. I can't really tell, it's tiny. Let's see, I met Billy Bob Thornton one time. He was so frail, looking short, and his handshake was super wimpy. Did you punch him in the face then? Say, grow up, man, be a man. Johnny Fitz wants to know if I'm live this late at night. Well, okay, dude, it's not that late here. It's only 8 o'clock here in Oregon. So, and you're on the East Coast, right? So it's 11 there. So yeah, it is late. Hey, there's no sound. I'm not muted, am I? Can anybody verify that can hear me? Oh, you heard me, Scott. Scott heard me. Somebody explained to Johnny that he must have his thing muted because you guys can hear me. Oh, 35th anniversary. Okay, good. All right, so what did I say? Wonder Woman, that's what I said. Let's see, how am I going to do this? You know, it's funny, there's only so many different angles you can draw face from. So I'm getting a little repetitive, but Aaron, are you there? So John, everybody can hear me except Johnny Fitz. So Johnny, I don't know. Well, because I'm talking to him, if you can't hear me, then I don't know what the mystery is. Let's see. I also started on YouTube first and then switched to Facebook. If you're only seeing the chat on one feed, that's probably why it switched. Okay, that makes sense. It's really interesting. I mean, everybody lives and dies by Twitter, which I hate. I think most rational people hate Twitter, but you know, you get the impression that everybody's on Twitter, right? So you got to be on Twitter. And I mean, I'm on Twitter, right? I only post, I don't talk politics. I just post art. And, but I make almost zero money, or customers, I guess would be a better way to put that, come from Twitter. Most of my customers come from Facebook. It's really bizarre. And maybe it's because Facebook has an older crowd, so the older crowd has more money to spend. I don't know. Although Scott, you're on Twitter and Facebook. Scott is a Michigan fan living in Nebraska, and I am a Nebraska fan living in Oregon. So I'll just be thankful you're not living in Michigan right now. That nutty governor. Oops, I'm not supposed to talk politics. Sorry, I didn't say that. I think we have too much upper lip here. And now I got too much chin. See, it's just one thing after another. It's like a chain reaction of dominoes, you know? Not Domino's pizza, but like dominoes turning over. But I will say, for like delivery cheap pizza, Domino's is actually pretty good. And then one place that's surprisingly good, and I mean, I'm qualifying this statement, right? But Little Caesars, for like those cheap, like $5 pizzas, I mean, they're better than frozen pizza, and frozen pizza ain't $5. So okay, so Hyper Potato, you are the yeah, let me put you up there. You're the exception. It says, I found out about Aaron Kahn on Twitter and spent money at 2 of them now. Okay, well, first of all, thank you. But secondly, you're the exception. Scott, you are all platforms. Well, I'm Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and I've been on Facebook the longest. And actually, the reason I'm on social media at all is because I did you guys might remember from one of the earlier Aaron Cons, if you were there, I had a Fantastical Creatures field guide book that was a book with a bunch of paintings and illustrations and about these, you know, kind of sort of weird fantasy creatures. Anyway, I did this book, and I came across a guy on Amazon He was selling a book. Chris Ayers, he's a character designer, does a lot of animation, but he also, worked in, like on Aliens versus Predator and things like that. And he is a cancer survivor, and he did this book called does this book called The Daily Zoo. He says kind of to celebrate life after recovering from cancer, he'd draw like an animal. He's an animation designer, so it's all really kind of cool stuff. And every once in a while there'd be a weird creature that he made up would be in there, but a lot of them were animals. And so he'd do a drawing a day, right? And every time he finished a year, he'd do a book. It was called The Daily Zoo. And I saw his book up on Amazon while I was tracking my book, and he was killing me, of course. But I reached out to him. So I saw his book on there, and I just said, "Hey, we've got similar books up, blah, blah, blah," and started kind of a little bit of a relationship with him. And he was the one. It's like telling me, "Man, you got to get on social media. You got to get on Facebook." And this was like, 10 years ago, maybe 12 years ago. And he was telling me I had to get on social media for promotion. It's the wave of the future. That's where everything, if you're going to get people to know about your stuff, you got to get on social media. So I finally reluctantly got on. I signed up for Facebook and Twitter, but I really didn't do anything on Twitter. I think it was 2008. I just focused everything on Facebook, right? And finally, over the last couple of years, I've maxed out my friends at 5,000. So if you've friended me and I haven't hooked you up, it's because I'm full. That's why I started the Aaron Lopresti art page. So anybody can go there, and you don't have to be necessarily my friend on Facebook. And then, of course, when people drop out, which they do, I'll go to my friend requests and, bring in a new person when I can. But anyways, yeah, so Chris Ayers, this character designer, just talked me into getting on social media. And it has been very advantageous for getting the word out, and selling product and things like that, prints, sketchbooks, original art. So it's worked out pretty well. Twitter, I didn't really start focusing on until the last probably 4 or 5 years. So I don't have quite the following on Twitter, and I'm really slogging through Instagram. I haven't been on Instagram that long at all, but that seems to be really difficult to get followers on. I don't post, I can only post maybe a couple times a week on there, so that might be part of the reason on Instagram. But when you're managing, and plus I have a website and a blog, which I have not been very regular on at all. And it's like I got a DeviantArt account, but I don't ever really go there anymore because it seems like a lot of people don't go there. So it's hard. It's hard to manage that many social media sites. I tried to get on Parler, or is it Parlay? But they're not down. They won't upload my art. Every time I try to upload my art, there's an error, and it says, experiencing an error, please try again later. And just like, so they haven't been actually very good at getting me to be on there because they're not making it easy for me. But again, it's like, my gosh, can I manage yet another social media account? I don't think I can. There's kind of a serious looking Wonder Woman, but that's okay. Wonder Woman is serious. It's funny. She's obviously a major player in Justice League that I'm working on right now. Excuse me, I got to reach across here and get a drink of water. And she seems like she spends more time being annoyed with the other members of the team than not, which I find kind of funny. Oh, I know who Elliot Fernandez is. He's on Mike's show all the time, right? But yeah, the main reason I'm on social media is I don't do anything, personal stuff, maybe wish my wife a happy anniversary or birthday or something like that. But that's not why I'm on there. I'm on there to promote. And, you've got to have a ton of followers. Because I think they say that only about 5% of the people that are following you on Instagram or pardon me, on social media would actually might end up being buyers of your product. So obviously you got to increase that volume of followers. That's a hard thing to do because especially on Twitter, man, I don't find much trouble on Facebook, but on Twitter, if you like the wrong thing, people go and check your likes and then will quit following you if you liked something that they didn't like. It's just so ridiculous. Oh, speaking of likes, let me throw this sucker up here because I keep forgetting to do this. There we go. Subscribe and like because it's free. I need way more subscribers on my YouTube channel. So if you guys are watching on YouTube, please subscribe to my channel. It's free and supposedly it helps me get monetized. And I'm so far from being monetized that, and there's a lot of videos up there, process videos if you're interested in storytelling or, inking, penciling. There's quite a bit on there to go along with these live streams I'm doing. So I think it's worth checking out, especially since it's free. More of her beach money on comics and art. That's great. Well, you know what? I have this friend who's an art collector, and he's, I've said this before, he owns practically every good piece of art I've ever done, or like really good piece, And his wife would always complain because he was pretty big. He was an international banking consultant, so he had some cash available to him, but what he would tell her is that she'd want to spend the money to go to Hawaii, right? And he'd go, well, you spend money on a vacation and then it's gone. Yeah, you got the memories, but that's it. He goes, I buy this artwork. He goes, this is an investment. I can sell it at any time and get my money back or more. And so that's how I look at it. When I buy old comics, I tell my wife, hey, this is an investment. We can cash this in for more money in 5 years or 10 years if I have to sell it. So if you're spending money just on anything, you're basically flushing it, right? But not if you buy old comics or art. It's an investment. And that's the line I've been, using for quite a good many years. Oh, thank you. I met Garcia Lopez. That was a thank you to Hyper Potatoes, Garcia Lopez comment there. I finally got to meet him. Oops, sorry, wrong one. At Calgary show last year. That was a cool show. Oh, I had Phil Noto and Joe Jusko on one side of me, and then Garcia Lopez and Will Spertasio on the other side of me. We got a big group shot of all of us. It was kind of cool. But I'd never met him before, and he seemed like a very nice old gentleman. But yeah, that guy can draw. So thank you for comparing me to him. That was very nice. I might have to put a moratorium on Wonder Woman sketches, man. They're running my pens dry with all this line work. We need more blonde superheroes so that I don't have to do all this. Of course, I'm just joking and whining and, all good fun. I love doing it. And I appreciate you guys supporting the cause here. All right, so there's a Wonder Woman for Matt Cubis. How about that? All right, let's take a decent look at that. There we go. It's a very serious Wonder Woman. It's like, dude, don't piss me off kind of look. John Hopkins joins in from Seattle. Hey, John. Thank you. What did I say? What number was that? That's 182. Boom. Okay, and for our finale tonight, it's the big fireworks show. No. Actually, I'm going to draw Kit Carter as my final sketchbook from Aaron Con. I still have 3 more full commissions to finish from that. I was not productive this weekend like I normally am. But I'll get them done here in the next day or two. Get them out the door so no one has to wait too long. And Scott, I will get with you on your books after I take a look at them and we'll set a price and all that kind of stuff. Okay. Kit. Boy, isn't that the truth. Jason Scanlon comes in, another amazing Wonder Woman. Thank you. Hellstorm. Fireworks important in the last 60 days, man. Isn't that the truth? Aimed at the wrong, in the wrong direction, though, unfortunately. I need to get back and do some more Kit Carter, man. I'm getting a little bit behind on that. Still really torn about if I should do a Kit Carter book on Kickstarter or if I should go back and try and do the Garbage Man collection. The Garbage Man collection would be, well, it'd be easier because I've got all the work is already done for the most part. But then to be able to do the origin of Kit Carter, and I'd probably do Kit Carter versus the Astro Zombies, and you'd have like the first meeting with Merv the Astro Chimp and all that kind of stuff. I'm serious. If I was independently wealthy, I would just launch my own, universe comic stuff. I got so many ideas, and I wouldn't care if I made any money or not, just to do it, so I could say I did it. Lewis Bright Raven, I finished yours a couple sketches ago, so you're going to have to go back and watch the video to see your sketch. I kept asking if you were here, but then I didn't think you'd make it, so I went ahead and did it. I should have waited till last. Sorry about that. But at least it's on recorded, so you can watch it. Okay. Oh, pop in my back. Hopefully you win the lottery. I know, that's what I keep thinking. What if I won the lottery? Then you think, well, okay, so let's say I won. How much would you have to win? And then you'd want it all up front. So then they only give you half of it. And then you lose another half of it to taxes. So I figured to do a company and actually last for like 5 years. That was if I actually hired employees and things like that. And, you know, have other artists and writers working and an editor and all those kind of things. Figured probably for 5 years, I'd need about $3 to $5 million to make it for 5 years without making a profit. We actually, at one time when I was in the studio in the 90s, Studiosaurus, my long gone but not forgotten art studio, comic art studio, we were thinking about going and talking to Paul Ryan and seeing if we could, Paul Ryan, Paul, jeez. I tell you, I can't remember anybody's name. You know, the Microsoft billionaire in Seattle. He owns the Blazers and the Seahawks. Paul Allen. We were going to get him to do, like, try and get him to sponsor us or something, to do something, and of course we never did it. But I can't imagine. Can you imagine us trying to sell to Paul Allen, hey, we got this great idea for a company that won't make you any money. In fact, it'll probably lose money. What do you think? Okay, so Matt James says, how many Kit Carter books have you done? I've done no Kit Carter books yet. I've done strips. Like right now it's formatted as a newspaper, like a Sunday newspaper strip. So there's like 7 and that I've done. And 2 of them are in black and white and they're up on my blog on my website right now. The first, was it the first 5 or first 6? First 6 are on a protected website because I have a Kit Carter story print. And when you buy the story print for $15, it's signed and numbered. It's basically just a big 11 by 17 full color, you know, 1-page story, Kit Carter story. If you buy that as a bonus, you get the first, is it 5? I think it's first 6 episodes, first 5 episodes. I can't remember. It's up on this website that only you can see if you got the story print. But then I started showing from 6 on or 7 on or whatever it is. I'd have to go double check. Are now available for everybody, but they're in black and white, not in color. And it's all just kind of sort of to get the name out there and the character out there and maybe some interest in it before I try and launch something. But when I get done with my Justice League assignment that I'm currently on, I don't have anything lined up. So I may have to jump into crowdfunding pretty freaking quickly. So that might be easier to do with Garbage Man than Kit Carter. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I still got 20 pages to go on my Justice League story, so anything can happen. Bring that chin in a little bit there. 8 Kit Carter episodes, Warren Montgomery says, and he would know because he letters them. She's right in the middle of she's got captured by Zing the Zealous. And so we're all kind of on the edge of our seats to see if she escapes that. And I know how it turns out, but I have to draw it. But anyway, if I published a book, I probably would do it regular comic book style and drop the newspaper strip angle. Although that really helped me get started on it because I didn't really know what to do with the character, and I was writing scripts for like regular comic series, and they just, I don't know, I couldn't get the right feel. And so I started doing these daily strips or Sunday strip kind of format. It sort of came together for me. Now I have a really kind of a good grip on the character and what I want to do with it. So I think I had a much easier time going in and doing a regular comic with her. Whew, I'm getting a little punch drunk here. A lot of drawing. Where's my 3? There it is. That eye was a little low. So I had to raise it up in the inking. And if you're curious at all, there's a couple of Kit Carter prints up on my website under the store section, and then follow that to the prints. And although it's just kind of images of Kit Carter, they're sort of parodies of like 50s sci-fi movie posters in a sense, or serialized, stuff from the 50s. Like Kit Carter versus the Molten Menace and Kit Carter versus the Astro Zombies. Louis Brightman broke down the lottery winnings here. He says, "I take the 30-year plan, pay the 25% taxes per year. A 100 million jackpot would guarantee you an annual budget of 2.8 million a year. I would publish you. Ron Strecker, Carl and Tom's Section Zero, Mark Andrew Smith, and Armand Villavert Jr.'s Gladstone School for World Conquerors, DeZago and Rousseau's Perhapanauts, and your own stuff, or my own stuff, his stuff, possibly a few others. Not sure if I'd want to go straight to trades and do serialized at this point. Possibly straight to trade and market them outside of the diamond market." He's got the plan. Now he just needs the cash. I sit around and do that too, man. I sit around and figure out, if I had the money to launch a company, how would I go about it? What would I do? Where would I set up offices? How would I run it? How much would it cost? I mean, I seriously do budget this because I keep thinking at some point I might just run into some guy who's got a lot of money and wants to get in on some comic book IPs, and I got to be ready with my my plan. Alrighty, there's Kit Carter. And that is lucky number 184. So I need to sell, what, 16 more? And I've got 200. Thank you, Rodney. So there we go. Whew. What an evening of excitement, huh? Man, you guys on the East Coast, thanks for hanging in there. What time is it? Oh my gosh, it's 11:39. That's brutal. I'm tired, and it's only there I am. So you can see behind my head, oops, the Justice League page over there. What's going on? You're gonna have to get the annual to find out, but it's fun. Giant robots and stuff. So All right. Well, let me plug my name. There it is. Let me go back and do this, and go back to doing that. Okay. All right. So there we go. See my dinosaur heads in the background there mounted on the wall? Cool. Anyway, look, we've had a great crowd again, you guys. This is like 5th night in a row, and we've had really good crowd every single time, and I really appreciate you guys coming in and keeping me company while I do this. And it's always great to have a little back and forth and answer some questions and tell some stories and all that kind of stuff. I'll probably be back in a week or so with the next Aaron Live, and AaronCon 5 will be in September if all goes well, and we're all still here, which I'm going to assume we're going to be. So again, thanks for joining me. You guys want to get on my commission list, or you want a sketchbook, just email me, message me. on YouTube, pardon me, or Facebook or Twitter anytime. Can always hook you up. And there you have it. Those of you guys waiting for your commissions from Aaron Kahn, I will have them done this week. I will get them shipped out this week. So you won't have to wait too long. Those of you that ordered books, they're all shipped out media mail, so it's 7 to 10 days. So just be patient. It's the only way I can do cheap shipping on the books, because I don't want to gouge you guys for shipping. Original art, I can't get around it, but the books I can ship pretty cheaply. So, be patient. Those will be showing up soon as well. So there we go. Let me look on screen here. Do you have an AC in your studio? No. I mean, I have AC in my house, but it's marginally effective upstairs. It's really nice downstairs. I do have a fan, but I turned it off because it was extra noise. That's right. Listen to Hyper Potato. Everybody, thanks for reminding me. Make sure you hit subscribe and like if you're watching on YouTube. And if you're watching on Facebook, go over to YouTube and subscribe and hit like. Anyway, appreciate it. And we'll see you guys real soon. Thanks again.